No, I'm assuming they're probably going to be down at 44. Right here they are. You hear them? This is Lee Short, aka Short Stacks, and I'm here with Revolutionary Z. We heard that protesters had come back down to St. Louis's south side on Shaw, and at first there were mixed reports that nobody was down here. When we were walking from the direction of Arsenal, which is east, walking west, we walked up behind a police line. So if you keep headed north, there is another police line, and it sounds like the protesters are coming up Shaw from the west. They're marching up Shaw from the west. So we're just gonna stay here. The police are keeping time with their riot sticks and shields. I apologize for not notifying people about where exactly I was going and when we were going. We just didn't want to notify anyone that could possibly endanger the protesters and or join the protesters that didn't have good intentions. So there's a lot of MSM with them tonight out in front of the crowd, and we're just going to wait for them to march up this direction. So actually, I take it back. This is probably not mainstream media because they're upset. They say this is psychological intimidation, what these police are doing by banging their bully sticks along their shin guards and on their shields. Looks like they're just banging to the side. So right now, the protesters are down the street talking about jail support. So I'm not sure exactly who's in this crowd, but if it's anybody I know, I should be able to easily. Hey, Keith.
They don't want to come this way.
Huh?
They don't want to come this way.
Well, what do you want? What do you?
No, they were coming. We were just standing here by ourselves, just three of us. All of this.
What do you want me to do?
So the police are.
I understand. They're
getting their shields to try to psych us out, and they started like trying to follow us down the road, the legal observers, so we can't leave. Right.
So Keith is saying Keith's a legal observer tonight. So I do know this group, so I should be able to blend in with them pretty well.
They don't mean shit. They don't mean shit. They don't mean shit. It's like bitch.
So the police are marching down from this direction to kettle the protesters. We're going to stay with them as long as we possibly can. I'm going to cross the street with them. The larger crowd, they seem to be more densely packed They have linked arms. There's calls to stay together.
We can go and walk straight past.
Oh, yes.
United we stand!
United we fall!
United we stand!
United we fall!
United we stand! United we stand!
United we fall!
United we stand!
Protesters are headed straight
United we stand!
towards
United we stand!
SWAT
United we
vehicle.
stand!
Last night it was armed with an MRAP. It's going to get hard to hear me. Last night it was armed with an MRAP.
Hands up!
Don't shoot!
Hands up!
Don't shoot!
They are now taking a seat in between the two lines of police officers.
Don't shoot!
Hands up!
They usually have this car blocking them.
Wake up!
Watch your surroundings. If they don't give us our shit, if they don't give us our shit,
So I see some national organizers that were here before. They sit down in between the two lines of police and the SWAT vehicle that's down here. They decided to sit down. The group didn't agree with that. They wanted to get back up, so they got back up.
We're shut shit down!
these cops don't like it. We want to indictment. These cops don't like it. We want to indictment.
These cops don't like it! We want an indictment! These cops don't like it! We want an indictment! These cops don't like it! We want an indictment!
These cops don't like it.
This is a much larger group. They're much tighter packed.
Don't like it. We want an indictment.
There's Awkward Duck. She is with Justice for All. She's an organizer. Let me see if I can see her. She's an organizer out of New York. So now they're trying to see if they should continue down the street. The police are now making an announcement saying that this is an unlawful assembly. If they do not disperse, they are subject to arrest. They're asking them to disperse again, saying they will be subject to arrest. I don't have press credentials on tonight, so I'm really not going to test the line. I do have them in my bag. If my stream goes down or I get arrested, will somebody please call jail support?
Everybody sit and let's record the cops. We are peacefully protesting.
So they're saying they're peacefully protesting. They shouldn't have to disperse. Sorry, guys.
Man on the outside! Man on the outside!
Thank you. Many demonstrators are wearing goggles tonight. The St. Louis City, this is St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department responded with lots of tear gas previously. Excuse me, guys, I'm going to step up. Do you mind? Thank you. Good girl. So one of the demonstrators just helped me up. I'm actually standing on a median. I know it's not as brightly lit as you guys would like. The light doesn't work from very far away. They are sitting peacefully, and they are being kettled. So
Everybody get on the sidewalk. Get on the sidewalk. Come on, we finna get them. Get on the sidewalk. Everybody get on the sidewalk. You are allowed by law to be on the sidewalk.
not really clear and or sure. So protesters are moving up to the sidewalk. I'm going to tuck in next to legal observers right now.
So that could be a good... Are you hiding yourself from tear gas?
What do you mean, am I hiding myself?
Well,
I've been gassed. It's not the gas that bothers me, it's the pepper spray.
So I lost my goggles today, otherwise I would have had those. I really need them.
I have them, but...
I have to my Walmart on the way home tonight. I need them for tomorrow.
So I am committed to, just me, independently tonight, I'm committed to staying with the protesters as long as possible without getting arrested myself so I can continue to document.
And just so you guys know, she is out here every day. I see her every day. She's willing to do so much for you guys. You should be so thankful to Stack for allowing you the opportunity to be here with us. And please, if you are in the area, please come out tomorrow at 10 a.m. in downtown St. Louis and march with us. Please. We need your eyes on the street.
Thank you. Thank you. So that was a legal observer. I swear I didn't pay him to say that, but it's nice to hear that people do appreciate us being out at this point. So the police line to the south is staying stationary but continuing to bang on their gear with their riot batons as a form of intimidation. The group to the north has advanced a little bit. They're the ones that have the SWAT and the MRADs behind it, the MRAP, or the SWAT and the LRAD. It's an MRAP too. It appears that the police are searching a van across the street. I don't know. Can somebody that's watching now just let me know that you all can still see everything in the chat?
Are you getting that over there? They show kind of.
Look at this New World Order shit.
Good.
This is straight New World Order.
So I think that they're either checking. So there's a police officer across the street at that van. They're checking some sort of they're checking their papers. Looks like they're reading something. So for a better view, I'm actually going to cross the street with the legal observers. See kind of what's going on over here. I'm not really clear about why they're saying they are unlawful, other than maybe they were blocking the roadway. It looks like they may be media. I'm really unclear. They have definitely stopped this particular van and they are looking through it. It's just a white passenger van. They are currently searching this van with flashlights. I did not get to hear if the passengers or the drivers authorized consent. So the protesters are taking off and they're marching down the sidewalk past the police line. So I'm assuming because they,
Well, I guess we
I'm gonna follow them. So I'm assuming because they stayed on the sidewalk, the police thought it was a good move to let them march past. There's DeRay, live tweeter extraordinaire. Oop. Traffic jam. So protesters are now marching probably about 4 or 5 shoulder to shoulder down the sidewalk. We're gonna follow them.
Back right to the rear. Do you understand? Turn. Go.
So they just gave out a command to box right into the rear. So this is some sort of...
Ariel! What? I don't understand. What's that doing? Ariel!
I'm gonna try and get... Hey babe, how are you? Good. So the police are now marching alongside protesters, blocking them in between this park, which is Compton Hill Park. This is kind of a shame. This is my neighborhood, but Ferguson is everybody in St. Louis's neighborhood that cares about equal rights. So they're just marching alongside us right now.
Hey, get off the street.
So, I came unplugged. Sorry guys, I've got 2 cameras that I'm streaming from tonight, so you're just gonna have to deal with the jostle. You can all troll me in chat in a second. Okay, sorry, I had to get plugged back up. Right now, until I get my lighting/phone issue figured out, I have to have 2 phones to stream. Even though the live streamers and the media that is marching with the protesters are trying to stay on the sidewalk, that way they don't give the police any reason to move on the protesters. One thing we've kind of learned is that press credentials afford you absolutely zero courtesy. I'm not wearing credentials tonight. I'm independently streaming, but Z got mugged in the face. Real good. So there's my buddy Z. So that's actually... one thing personally that I've noticed in the last couple of weeks and since I've participated in demonstrations here and is that the protesters are definitely getting more organized. They are learning how to maneuver around certain police tactics and how to avoid some of the confrontation so they can continue to demonstrate. So I believe that there is still another line of police ahead of us. That was the second line, unless they converged. I kind of got a little distracted. But I believe that there's another line up in front of us.
Eventually, I think.
So there's somebody telling all the demonstrators to stay up on the sidewalk, saying we're not agitators. Everybody needs to stay on the sidewalk. I'm at the back of the pack. I believe Bella Iko is further up towards the front of the pack. And there's legal observers distributed throughout. One disadvantage that I'm seeing to marching on the sidewalk is they're not able to stay in as quite tight of a pack, but at this point in time it seems like they're being allowed to march down the sidewalk. So across the street there is Flora Place. That was the street that they demonstrated on the other night. And that particular street has a special tax assessment. I think they're saying, please remain on the sidewalk or you will be arrested. So Flora Place, the average price home. Okay, so here we go, the Bearcats coming by.
Please return to the sidewalk or you will be placed under arrest.
Sorry.
Please return to the sidewalk or you will be arrested.
They're actually, so I'm sorry you can't see very well, they're shining a light to interfere with filming. So there's a lady in a house behind me yelling, shame on you. I'm not sure if she's yelling, shame on you towards the police or demonstrators. Anyway, back to the Flora Place commentary. So the average price of houses on Flora is about $350,000 to $500,000 for the St. Louis area. That's high, and so they tax themselves to be able to afford police officers to work secondary as private security. That is it's not what led to it, but an off-duty police officer working secondary for private security was who shot Von Derek Myers. So I'm actually pretty far behind them, but knowing how they operate, they will stop and I'll catch up. I wanted to make sure that you guys got a good view of the militarized police equipment. Taxi guy, go around me. The militarized equipment that the police are using.
The street is for vehicles. Please return to the sidewalk.
I think this police officer making announcements is entertaining himself a bit. So they're just following demonstrators down the street at this point in time.
Nothing fucking better to do with intoxicated or intoxicated. Just follow us down the street. Got no goddamn robbers, killers, and all that shit. They fucking with the protesters.
This nice lady here, she's out all the time. She's
one day one.
That's what they call it. So they call it A1 day one. So, I didn't want to keep shining light in your face. So, you'll hear that phrase used a lot, and that's used to denote people that have been out consistently, no matter kind of what their role is. Demonstrators and protesters have formed a family of sorts, but that absolutely does not diminish the role that people from out of town who have come in play, and it certainly doesn't diminish the role of people at home. When you guys share the link and the feeds, when you guys send words of encouragement, I know for me that's the most important thing that I can get, because for every couple words of encouragement we have 10 times the amount of trolls, but you just kind of have to ignore them. Yeah, I'm in the back, Jazzy. I actually stayed with the Bearcat and with the demonstrators in the back. I know the front seems more exciting, but the back is actually where they run into danger. In the past, police have picked off people in the back, and the front doesn't know anything because they keep marching forward. So I am actually, I almost just bit it there. I'm actually in the very back. A lot of the demonstrators keep looking back to see where that vehicle is. Sorry, guys.
These killer cops have got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! These killer cops have got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! These killer cops have got to go,
You've got
hey, hey!
people come out of their apartment.
Cops have got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho!
This is a street medic in front of me.
Hey, hey! Ho, ho!
Street medics have training. No, you're fine. This is your march, though. I'm not trying to get in the way. Street medics usually carry equipment, all sorts of equipment, but mostly for tear gas and stop bleeding, and I don't really know what they carry because I'm not one, but I'm excited that they are here.
These killer cops have got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! These killer cops have got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! Ho, ho! These killer cops have got to go, hey, hey!
So I moved up to about the middle of the pack.
Got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! These killer cops have got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! These killer cops have got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! These killer cops have got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! These killer cops have got to go, hey, hey!
Hands up!
Don't shoot!
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 Hands up!
So
Don't
this
shoot.
Alps
Don't shoot.
market was earlier
Don't
being
shoot.
used as a police staging area.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot.
And street medic is Jessie. Tell her hi. She's behind me now, but I will.
Don't shoot. Don't shoot.
Of course, there is a little bit of lag.
Don't shoot.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Don't shoot.
Don't shoot! 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 Fight back!
Don't shoot.
Fight back!
Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot.
Trying to run up closer to the front of the pack, but trying to stay off the street so I don't give them any excuse to act against demonstrators.
We gonna shut this shit down.
Shut that shit down! Shut that shit down! Shut that shit down! Shut that shit down! That fucking SWAT truck! Shut that shit down! Police!
Shut that shit down.
Shut that shit down!
Sorry guys, I came unplugged again.
Shut this shit down. Shut this shit down.
Gonna have to be patient.
Shut that shit
2
down.
phones and a bad Android cord.
Shut that shit down. Shut that shit down. Shut that shit down.
Shut that shit down! Shut that shit down! Shut that shit down!
Alright, sorry about that.
Shut that shit down!
Shut that shit what?
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 Shut that shit down!
They don't give us that shit.
We gon' shut that shit down!
They don't give us
So
that
that's actually
shit.
a member of the Last Voices that's leading chants right now.
They don't give us that shit.
We gon' shut that shit
They
down!
don't give me no shit.
We gon' shut that shit
They
down!
don't give them that shit.
We gon' shut that shit
They
down!
don't give them that shit.
We gon' shut that shit
They
down!
don't give them that shit.
We gon' shut that shit down!
You fake ass police.
Shut that shit down!
You fake ass governor.
Shut that shit down!
Fake ass president.
Shut that shit down!
Fake ass president.
Shut that shit down!
The whole city council.
Shut that shit down!
The justice system.
Shut that shit down!
All them prisoners.
Shut that shit down!
All them prisoners.
Shut that shit down!
Fake ass guns.
Shut that shit down!
Fake ass laws.
Shut that shit down!
Military SWAT.
Shut that shit down!
Military SWAT.
Shut that shit down!
FBI.
Shut that shit down!
CIA.
Shut that shit down!
Government.
Shut that shit down!
Government.
Shut that shit down!
They don't give us our shit.
We gon' shut that shit
They
down!
don't give us our shit.
We gon' shut that shit down!
Not really sure where we're marching to.
Shit
They
down!
don't give us our shit.
We gon' shut the shit down!
All the houses in the county.
So
All them
one of the demonstrator tactics is to keep moving, which makes it more difficult for, there's Bella Iko right in front of me. Hello.
Shut that shit down! Shut that shit down! Shut that shit down! Shut that shit down! Shut that shit down!
So anyway, back to what I was saying. The protesters try to keep moving as a tactic to avoid police kettling them and like massing on them, because as long as they keep moving, they usually don't mess with them. But it's also a police tactic for them to keep the demonstrators moving and wearing them out after a couple hours.
Shut that shit down!
The last night that I was here marching at this particular location down Grand,
Shut that shit down!
Shut that shit down! Shut that shit down!
So the last time I was down here marching down Grand, we marched for I think 6 or 8 hours straight.
Shut this shit down!
Needless to say, I changed shoes today.
Shut this shit down!
I'm finna record that. I'm finna record
Shut this shit down! Shut this shit down!
So protesters are just being followed down the street by police.
Shut that shit down! Shut that shit down! Shut that shit down! Shut that shit down!
There are a lot of police
Shut that shit down!
for the number of demonstrators.
Shut that shit down! Shut that shit down! Shut that shit down!
So he was telling a member of media to get back on the sidewalk. This is a lot of police.
Shut that shit down. Shut that shit down.
So we're marching towards the business district of South Grand. The business district of South Grand has been developed a lot, maybe I would say in the last 2 to 3 years. Tower Grove South has become what some would consider to be a highly gentrified area. Property values just last year rose 35%. Well, in the last 6 months. Maybe I'm kind of giving away what I do for a living.
If everybody started walking down one of these broad streets where they were blocked off, I mean, but whoever's got the megaphone,
Hey, if we turn the fuck around right now. Hey. Go back that way.
Go back! Turn around!
So they're turning around. They're doing an about-face march, basically. So these police officers kind of get stuck trying to do a U-turn in an area that isn't really easy to do a U-turn in, especially with this Bearcat. Woo! So you can see they're trying to keep me from filming here.
Everybody needs to stay together.
I'm going to stay with the group.
Hey, but shit, if we turn around, they gotta turn around.
it's a mind game.
Let's go.
Come on.
Hey, come on. Come on, no, bro.
So I'm right in the midst of the group. Some people are still up ahead, and some people turned around.
Walk back the other way.
Now all of them are.
Well, they can't turn around fast as we can.
So I'm going to stay in the back with this particular group.
Ride the motherfucking way.
Stop.
I've just got a couple demonstrators behind me. Again, there was the police officer that was shining his light. There he goes again. You know, is that illegal? Can somebody tell me that?
This is not legal, man.
Cat and mouse.
They gotta have a criminal intent for it to be an unlawful assembly.
Yeah,
There is none.
it's playing cat and mouse. Walking for no reason.
I guess they try to walk back and then
They're trying to make it. They're trying to make it more difficult for them to turn their line around.
They'll do that shit all day. Nothing's difficult for them. They do that shit all day. Go back and forth. They don't care.
So you can see some of the demonstrators that were in the front are now in the back, not necessarily happy about having to turn around. One thing I've learned about being within the movement is you do have a lot of differences of opinion.
I just want to know why we walking back this way.
Came unplugged again. This Android cord that I'm working with, guys, is just about as bunk as it gets. So I apologize. I just bought 2 of them at Boost Mobile, and neither one of them sit securely in the seat, but I guess that's what I get for trying to buy Android cords on an emergency at Boost Mobile. So there's a non-cop watch.
Yeah, they're ready to do a mass arrest tonight. Yeah, they're ready to do a mass arrest tonight. What you guys just did was incredibly smart. I love y'all.
That really was. I am
Y'all
so
smart as fuck tonight. Thank you so much.
Psych, that's what we call that movie.
They're coming back. SWAT trucks are coming back.
Oh, okay.
They had time to get out.
So the SWAT truck has finally been able to turn around. So now they're turning around and coming this direction. Sorry, guys. Here's a group here doing very smart things, assisted by a legal observer. They are writing the bail support number on their arm. I really I'm sorry, guys, I don't mean to laugh. I really think the guy doing the announcements on this SWAT truck is having a blast. He is just having a blast.
How much did it cost? How much did it cost? It's what? Oh, okay. How did you think I got it? Awesome. Yeah. Oh, I know you want it. Hey, what are you doing?
So literally this has become a cat and mouse game. Demonstrators march down one way, police follow them, demonstrators turn around, police follow them back up the street.
Should we pass out, like, at least if us done? I mean, I don't want to be like, going for that shit.
That is what they officially refer to as a paddy wagon. I don't think that's what they refer to it as, but that's what we're going to say. So they have at least 4 of them behind this particular one. And behind the Bearcat, they have another TAC vehicle and then 2 TAC Suburbans.
Occupying their time on that. You know what I'm saying? Because they got helicopters, they're using fuel. We're getting in the pocket, I know that. So they want
So they're just crossing the street. Well, I haven't seen them stop thus far. So as of right now, it looks like they're just crossing the street up ahead. And they've told them to return to the sidewalk. They are crossing at a crosswalk. It does need to be noted that they are crossing at a crosswalk. And they told to return to the sidewalk.
No, I don't care.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks for helping. So now you can see demonstrators are crossing the street towards what they call Tower Grove Park using the crosswalk. And they're actually waiting for the herd to do another crossing.
United we stand! United we stand! United we fall! United we fall!
So this is hilarious. You literally had hundreds of demonstrators trying to gather on this small corner to make another legal street crossing. Somebody's actually pushing I'm sorry guys, this is getting funny. We have the right-of-way. You can hear the chirp chirp and see the little walking man. They're actually pressing the buttons to call for walk assistance. Now the group is marching back towards 44. So we're headed north again. North on Grand towards 44. In between Magnolia, that might be Shaw. In between Shaw and 44. I'm unclear if anybody is in the street. There's Reb Z in front of me. No, I mean, does not look to me like demonstrators are in the street. They may have been talking about when they were walking on this grassy section of private property here. But for the most part, everything remains lawful. With the exception of maybe a couple manners of walking, aka what they shot Michael Brown for. So now the police are driving up and down the street without their lights on. And we've got some people going back that way.
So you didn't go off the verdict?
What city you from?
It's from Atlanta.
So you can overhear people talking. Some people just arrived from Atlanta and joined the march. They weren't here earlier. They just got in town from Atlanta and joined the march. Oh, I got a little extra light. Yay for media with like big lights. I want a big light. It's totally not fair. So if you've just joined us, we are marching down Grand towards 44. Hey Karen, how are you? Towards 44 from like the Magnolia and Shaw area.
I gotta walk overtime, you gotta work overtime.
So this is
going home until your police
one of the technical
in this county
people is actually filming.
Stop killing our black men.
So we're filming that.
Our white men. I'm not racist, but I believe in justice.
I tax bill says all that gas.
I'm sorry, repeat it.
And I'm one of them.
It looks like your ass. It looks like you. It looks like you.
We're just trying to be prepared.
So they're handing out masks in case we get pepper sprayed, which is great because I have my gear. I just didn't grab it. I guess I've gotten so used to it.
Discrimination is when y'all racial profile.
There's somebody passing out goggles as well.
Came from Central Reformed Congregation.
Central Reformed Congregation, you hear that? So we have churches out here doing needed work for people on the street, which is goggles and masks.
Got milk. Shabbat and all this time. In case they start gassing us, they got milk for your eyes.
I didn't take a set of goggles because I am filming and there is a need for demonstrators to have them. This nice lady here also does the drumming, does some of the drumming.
Yes.
So happy when churches do service work that benefit the people directly in the community. These are so tight. I tried getting one around my face. I'm like, oh.
Once we go back around, I might, it's kind of a walk down, I might better get some of the masks. Got 80 of them, I didn't think we got more in the car. Yeah, I might go back and get them. That's the thing we're using, they're using that sound.
So if you're just joining us, you're just tuning in, we are headed towards Grand in the St. Louis Shaw neighborhood, which was the scene of, I don't want to say the scene, which was the area which in Von Derritt, Myers was killed by an off-duty police officer just a couple nights ago. And since that has happened, there have been demonstrators out marching every day. We're marching towards 44. We're headed north on Grand, away from Shaw. Grand and 44 is a major intersection in St. Louis. It's the hub for the universities and SLU Hospital. Many local residents believe that
Are you fucking serious? You're a joke! You're a pathetic human being!
the lady that was in her house earlier, she is still in the house yelling.
They're trying to figure out.
This lady is really trolling it from her window. She is having a field day yelling at people.
What just happened over there?
We're, I believe, 1 block away from Brandon Shaw. Quindaric Myers was killed by police on Shaw Boulevard.
What you think they won't do?
One thing that I am happy to see as the tactics evolve is more and more demonstrators, including myself, becoming familiar with live stream, recording the police, using their cameras as protection, and weapons against the police and harassment and court charges. So Z must be having fun tonight.
We are not live. He said we could do this all night. He wanted agitate.
So the police officer in the Bearcat just said we can do this all night. Not really sure what the point of that was other than to agitate the crowd.
Oh, wow, he said it again. Who, the officer?
So here they go, shining their light again. They say they can do this all night, but let me inform you guys of what happened last night. They had like 10 police cars that needed jumps and that were disabled in the street because they can't do this all night. Their equipment is old, their cars are old, and they were repeatedly calling for jumps. They actually even requested some just citizens that were driving by jump their car. I wish I was joking, but I'm not. So now they're telling somebody that was just driving down the street to please keep driving
down the street the wrong way. And he on his phone. He on his phone driving down the street the wrong way.
Hey, at least he's not on his laptop.
That's not a crime.
Last night I couldn't stream because I didn't have my light situation figured out, but last night there were a couple St. Louis Metropolitan Police that were actually like taking selfies and laughing to agitate the crowd, and I am aware of what a true selfie is. They were literally like holding their cameras up, and taking pictures of protesters behind them, behind the line. I wish I got paid for taking selfies. I'm about to get some light amplification courtesy of, there's the helicopter that's spotting the crowd.
Usually comes with the price of shutting down this.
And they block the street. You see that shit?
So they, demonstrators are saying they blocked the street and they blocked the sidewalk. They blocked the sidewalk up ahead of us. So apparently, I guess we're being prepared to be kettled.
Control these niggas, go that way.
Hopefully not, but I'm not sure. They might have blocked the sidewalk just to bring the line down this way, to swing the line around.
Turn it down, show. Turn it down, show. Stop kicking people in the butt. You see what happened? Don't argue and bicker in front of everybody. Let's just do this together. If the shit changes,
I'm gonna slide in here, in the middle of the pack here. Hey Charles!
United we stand. United we fall.
AKA Charles Way.
United we fall. United we stand. 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 Divided we fall. Divided we fall. Divided we fall. Divided we fall. Real bad. Divided we fall. Divided we fall. Divided we fall. Go down far. Go down far. Go down far.
So demonstrators are headed down Shaw because the police have staged on Grand, which is a major thoroughfare. When they head down Shaw, they will be headed through a residential neighborhood.
Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. They think it's a game. They think it's a joke. They think it's a game. They think it's a joke. They think it's a game. They think it's a joke. 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 They think it's a
The
joke.
police helicopter is spotting the crowd. Just got some vertigo there. Try me not to do that.
They think it's a joke. They think it's a joke. They think it's a joke. Divided we fall. 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 Divided we fall.
For the most part, demonstrators are staying on the sidewalk. Okay.
Divided we fall.
Looks like they're taking the streets.
Divided we fall. Divided we Our streets!
Sorry guys, I had to make some adjustments here.
Our streets! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! They think it's a joke! They think it's a joke!
I want to thank all of you at home again for tuning in.
Our streets!
It's going to get darker.
Our streets!
My light is pretty bright, but it's going to get dark. We're marching through residential.
Our streets! Our streets! Our streets!
I want to thank you guys at home just for keeping an eye on everybody here and being witnesses to what's happening.
Our streets! Our streets!
This guy in front of me has an awesome jacket. It says the perfection of black women. So now that we've moved into the residential neighborhood, the chant has changed to FTP, which is fuck the police. Everybody thank the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department for providing extra lighting. People have linked arms in the street. So you can see this is a residential neighborhood. Shaw Boulevard itself is largely populated with large apartment complexes and some single-family residences. So what we've seen in the last couple nights is that people will come out and greet the demonstrators as they walk by in a show of solidarity. Brian Dominic, if you're listening, on a side note, I haven't gotten to meet you yet, but I totally appreciate everything that you're doing. So I hope I get to see you. But I have a feeling the circumstance that I get to see you under would be in the case of a non-indictment. And that kind of bums me out. How many in this group? Maybe about 100. How many would you say are in this group, babe? 75 to 100 people. I told you guys earlier, like, I never won the how many marbles are in the jar thing in elementary. So this is my girl. My girl, Bree. She keeps changing her Twitter, so.
No, my nickname is still Go Away Ho. It's been Go Away Ho for years. It's only Bree be knowing for like 2 weeks. Don't get it confused.
So if you want to follow Bree, and Bree has been on the ground. Bree was actually one of the first people that I met, with the exception of Morgan. Bree is go away ho, GEAUX. Away. And then the ho part is HEAUX. So go away ho. She says if you can't spell it the French way, you don't deserve to say it.
Don't even spell it. You don't even need to. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it, she says. I'm sorry, guys. My narrative's a little crappy tonight. I'm tired.
What do we want? Justice! What do we want? Now! What do we want? Justice! What do we want? Now! What do we want? Justice! What do we want? Now! What do we want? Justice!
My car is like, because they blocked
us
there. I'm thinking that you guys were way, like way up here.
No, I was all the way up.
Yes.
And there was so many people. There were 20 cars deep. There was 4 deep in the car. They were so prepared for some other shit.
Yes.
They have to be disappointed in themselves. Like, they should really be disappointed. That kind of response for a handful of people just walking, they should really be pissed. They should be pissed that they wasted their time, that they wasted their money, that they wasted their planning for nothing.
So, Brie and I were just basically talking about when we were trying to get into the scene, they had blocked off like 6 blocks in either direction. So Bree, somebody says hi, Solidarity. From Kentucky. You guys, after I've been up for like 12, 15 hours, I start garbling a little bit. Just bear with me. Yes.
Like, literally, it was like another 100, other than the 100 that y'all seen, there was another 100 of them down the street. No, not even at the Schnucks. They was at Arsenal and Grand and everybody out here. They think it's a joke. They think it's a joke. They had paddy wagons
Bree's saying that they had tons and tons and tons and tons of cars down here earlier for really no apparent reason. And she estimates that they could have locked everybody up if they wanted to. Apparently the show of police presence that we're seeing right now is nothing compared to what it was earlier. This is Lala, and at the real Josh riding on the back. Lala is usually the official demonstration and protest follow vehicle. Or lead vehicle, depending on which one she's doing. You can see people are prepared tonight because of that's probably either a milk solution or a milk of magnesia solution, since they got so out of hand with the pepper spray last night. They were kind of off the chain with it. Trying to give you guys a view of the houses. We are definitely in a residential neighborhood.
on a watch list right now. I say the outside,
So we have people behind me talking about outside agitators that are sent into the crowd to start things, to give police an excuse to come in. The tone in St. Louis has changed from outside agitators who are demonstration or protest minded, and it really has shifted to police setups. Alright, so Brian Dominic says no milk of magnesia. Well, that is what is going around on the flyer, Brian. Can you get us a better flyer, please?
One of the memorials this way. Yeah. This way, the boy got right up here on the corner.
So we're marching towards the corner where Von Myers was shot by an off-duty police officer. I want to say it was 3 nights ago, but it might have been 2. Just from being out every night for the last 67 days, they're all starting to blend together. I didn't see any, so I'm in the middle of the pack to answer your question about are there any police following into the residential area. I'm in the middle of the pack. I'm sure they are. Either that or they're keeping an eye with the helicopter, which is following the demonstrators. But I can't see any in front of us, and I haven't stopped to look behind us. So no police. We have a follow vehicle, but no police in sight. So like most metropolitan cities, St. Louis runs off of a grid system, especially the south side, off of the park. So the chance of them sitting up on any number of side streets or alleys that are behind every single house is great, but no police in sight currently, no. We are on Shaw, headed towards Kings Highway away from Grand. We are on Shaw Boulevard. We will be coming up on Shaw and Clem, the site of the Von Myers Memorial.
I could try, but it ain't gonna work.
Yeah, we got to see what's cracking that.
I'm gonna let some demonstrators ahead of me. Go ahead. So they can, I don't want to say enjoy, but so they can observe and pay their respects in peace I know you guys may hate me some days, but I prefer to back up and to allow people to have space. So no police in sight. No police in sight tonight. Well, not tonight. No police in sight on this side street besides the spot copter that they're using. While they observe this moment of peace, I'm going to get up so you guys can see the memorial a little bit better, and then I am going to take a break while we are at peace.
Alright, so let me hear about my folks. If you are here all night, say aye. Aye. If you're trying to go home, then good night. We thank you for coming out.
I'm going to go down for just a little bit, guys.
We out here.
Alright, that's me. We're going to go check this out. Say aye. Aye. I believe. I believe. I believe that we will win. 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 March it in.
I'm going to go down now.
Family is
Thank
mourning
you.
a loss. Would y'all mind getting off of their property? Please get off of their property. They're mourning a loss right now. Their child died. I asked nicely. I said please. I told you why. Thank you.
No, we were saying we didn't know. We didn't know.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
What was the question?
Yeah, like stupid. That's all that works for the